All right, welcome back into the Sports Source. We were just debating whether or not Chuck Cavaleris lost any money on a couple of plays yesterday in the orange and white game. Chuck, you'll have to text me and let me know. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. We are blessed here in East Tennessee to have the Smoky Mountains right in our own backyard. And when you want to take advantage, just hit the road to Sevier County. There you'll have dozens of getaway spots to choose from, all from Parkside Cabin Rentals. A cabin to meet your every need, all kinds of different designs and layouts, and you can check out the layouts so you can pick your own, whether you want 2 people or 30 people, if you've all been vaccinated. Go to ParksideCabinRentals.com and check out all of their many cabin layouts today. The Ogle family's been doing it for as long as there has been a national park up there. They do you right. Parkside Cabin Rentals. All right, a lot of guys in the field yesterday, some in the first quarter, who Vol fans might not have expected to hear from. Now, as I mentioned, David Yancey is a guy who will forever be remembered by Vol fans for having, he was the all-time spring game star. A couple of straight spring games, maybe 3, where he was really good at running back. But yesterday, Jack Jancic, Antonio Malone, Michael Bittner, Fred Orr, Hunter Salmon. We're talking about guys who typically would be deep down the depth chart, who you wouldn't think would be contributing early in that game. What does it tell us, if anything, that you have so many of those guys playing so early? Do you think that's a setup where the coaches are trying to be more careful with their frontline guys? We don't want to risk injury? Or do you think it says you just don't have a lot of depth there? Thoughts?
Well, they evenly distributed the first, second, and third team units out there. The third team, I think they got 5 drives. Everybody got 6 or 5. So that's part of it, and I think for the injuries aspect of it is part of what you're talking about. But what makes them jump out even more is when you start to see them on the second unit.
Yeah.
And then they're out there that much more, like the Humphreys and Unique Valentine and linebacker together, the second unit. That's where it makes them seem like, boy, they're on the field constantly.
I think a lot of it had to do with injuries and the depth, the lack of depth that they have over there. I think that was a big part of that. So it's hard to read a whole lot into it. But I did think it was interesting that afterward, one of the Tennessee players was asked about Jancic's long play, and he said, "Oh yeah, he's been doing that the whole spring." Okay, I hadn't heard about it the whole spring, but
Vela said he's a great player.
yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, I think a lot of it just had to do with working people in due to the lack of depth and injuries that you have.
The lack of depth, I wonder about, though, is you get some of these guys back, but I wonder how, if you're getting so many back, that you're not going to have to see these guys in the fall. You know, it's one thing, we've seen these, the walk-ons and the deep back play before. I can't remember ever seeing this many that soon throughout the entire game. David, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird. I think part of it is kind of what you would say, just the lack of numbers in general, and then trying to rotate guys in and a new staff, them trying to figure out what they have. Maybe you have a gym or something like that, or guys that have been doing things the right way. You want to give them that showcase in the spring game. I don't think you're going to see a lot of walk-ons contributing. I think you might see a little bit, if they get down with injuries and stuff like that. But, yeah, I wouldn't take it as a sign that you're going to see this routinely in the fall. But I think sort of a perfect storm of sort of injuries, rotations, new staff, all those things.
Well, and were you going to say something? Or no? Okay. The way you turned your head so quickly, I was like, oh, he had a point. I was
reading
just
my defense.
Yeah. Congratulations to those guys, by the way. I mean, they go out there and they give everything, just like the guys who started out as 4s and 5 stars. So congratulations for having a day that your name popped in East Tennessee among Vol fans. That had to be a thrill for some of those guys, like a Jack Jancic, whose dad, of course, was a former assistant here at Tennessee. When we come back, let's talk more about the quarterbacks, because you've got another one coming in. Would he be coming here if he didn't think he had a real good shot at starting? What does that tell us? He's coming in. Is anybody going to transfer out? We got a lot to discuss the quarterback situation next on the Sports Source.